don't want it. So what are some of the challenges that you guys are going through? Connect with my network, YouTube, Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, Motivation, Meditation, Inspiration.yoga. Are we starting to get to the point where we're using our focus, our knowledge, and our discipline, that the reflection of motivation, meditation, and inspiration are coming out? That's what people see when you're focused. That's what they see when you put yourself in a place where your mentality starts to utilize that. When you start to utilize the questions that you have inside, the mentality from within who you are. And so how do we start to get there? How do we start to put ourselves to the point where we start to overcome our challenges, where our mentality starts to have the ability, where when we're in our professions, when we're in our homes, when we're in our relationships, we have the ability to utilize that. So let's go ahead and start talking about some of the stuff that I was working with last night, the people that I was working with. And so one of the things that a lot of people get separated with is the ability to allow themselves to be themselves. They get separated into groups, into projects, into things, and a lot of times they lose their self-ability, their self-esteem, the esteem that they have, the drive that they have inside of themselves to be that beautiful human being, to be that person that they are inside, that mentality that they have. And so how do we start to get there? Do we start to work through our challenges? Leave comments, leave concerns that you have, leave things that you would like to overcome. And one of those ways is by understanding the energy that you have inside, understanding the ability that you have inside of yourself, understanding that when you put yourself in a place of focus, you get to keep your results. You get to keep your mentality. And so how do you start to enable your mentality? How do you start to put yourself in a place where you put yourself in a place where your mentality has the ability to grow? And as I'm going through this, I'll also do energy readings for those who call in. You can also get an energy reading at a different time. They normally are about $25, but I'm doing them for free. The reason why is because I want to build a community. I want people to see that they're worth it. I want them to see that their ability is worth it, that their mentality is worth it. And so how do you start to use your mentality at that level? How do you start to use your energy at that level? How do you start to get to the point where what you're focusing on, you have the ability to make it through? How do you start putting yourself in a place where you're so focused that your challenges have the ability to move out of the way? And so you're welcome to call in if you'd like to get an energy reading. I just got a request here on Twitter. And so when we understand how our energy flows inside, when we utilize that energy, we have the ability to understand ourselves. A lot of people see people that are frustrated as red. They actually light up as red. And so there are other colors of energy as well. There's people with green energy, purple energy, blue energy. The voicers, a lot of speakers who actually do speeches, they use that kind of energy. But there's also people out there with energy of depth perception, nervous system. I mean, the energy within our bodies is sevenfold. What is the dominant energy inside of yourself? How can you utilize it? How do you focus into utilizing your energy? And how do we put ourselves in a place where we're focused to use that? How do we start to sit down with ourselves and start to study and allow where we're putting our focus to become a priority? How do you wake up? What is it that you do every single day? What is it that brings you towards yourself? What is it that brings you towards the ability to overcome your challenges? And like I was saying, you're welcome to call in. I am definitely doing energy readings today. And so I've been doing meditation since I was 27 and I'm 34. When I was in the sauna, I was breaking hours, and people were saying it's impossible for you to be able to stay in a sauna past an hour. What happens when you pass 3-4 hours? What happens with the challenges that are going on inside of you? How do you start to put yourself in a place where you bypass the emotion, where the emotions have the ability to move out of the way, where the story beyond the emotion starts to open up, where the positions that we hold are because it's not just great for them, but it's great for you as well too? How do you start putting yourself and a place where what you view comes from a positive force in the universe. It comes from a positive mentality. It comes from a positive ability inside of you. See, this is where a lot of people started to ask the questions, what do you mean? How do you overcome emotion? And this is how you start to overcome emotion. You got to focus into the things that you want to keep. If you want positivity, then you got to vibrate positivity. You got to vibrate a mentality in a place. You got to make sure you have the time to prepare yourself. You don't go on a climb on a mountain without putting yourself with time to prepare your water bottles, to prepare your backpack, even if it is a day hike. So why do you do that in your lives? Why do you put yourself in that place without putting yourself in that kind of mentality? And so that's when I started to notice that. And I have been to Europe. And as I was traveling through Europe, I went to Porto, Portugal, London, France, and Madrid, Spain. And I went to multiple museums, and the one thing that I noticed is that the way that somebody actually got to the place where there was universal yield, I'm talking about the Monets, I'm talking about the people throughout time, is because people viewed that more than 1,000 times. It was more than 1,000 words spoken. It was more than 1,000 words written. And so when do you write your story? When do you write your path? When do you use the energy and you embrace it? And you start to allow the things to move out of their way. And that's when I sat down and heard Oprah Winfrey talking about how she got where she is. And that's how I recognize that a mantra has a purpose, that the actual ability to have a set of words that drive you have a purpose. And so how do you start to create that kind of drive inside of yourself? This is how you start to do so. You start to put it down on paper. You start to put your challenges and the things that you focus down into. You start to seek out positivity. And as I was driving people, which I've done more than 14,000 trips with people in the car, 3.5 years of telesales, 2.5 years of car sales, slept in my car for 2 months before, meditating inside of a sauna, breaking a 5-hour barrier. Okay? People said it was impossible to pass the first hour. What happens with, like what Arnold Schwarzenegger was talking about, where when you do something that other people call impossible and you make it possible, then you know it's not impossible to do so. Do you believe in yourself that way, your journey, your path, to the point where you become that reflection, where when you wake up in the morning, other people see you as motivation, that you aren't even just trying to become it, you are it. That is what I'm talking about. That is what drove me every single day when I was putting water into water bottles, going inside of McDonald's, filling up shake bottles, washing my clothes in the 24-hour fitness bathroom, right? What do we focus to the point? What do you want to achieve? You know, I was clean. Even when I had nothing, I had everything. Because when you have yourself, when you have this kind of mentality, you're not seeking to be selfish, okay? You're not seeking for approval from other people. You're looking inside of yourself. You're looking at what you have, what you could do with what you got, how you can utilize the universe and become a blessing in the universe. And as I was meditating inside the sauna, I recognized as I was giving food and I was doing these types of things, I recognized that I could no longer say thank you because I wasn't trying to give gifts. I wanted people to be blessed. And that's where my mentality started to change. It started to recognize that we are part of a process, that the challenges that we go through, they're there for us to embrace. They're there for us to put our mentality into. And so as I continue to talk about this, as you start to see that level of reflection, as you start to see that level of ability, you know, the universe is not going to not throw tests at you. It's going to throw the test at you to see if you can stay positive, if you can stay in a place where your mentality continues to grind, where you start to get deep inside of yourself, where positivity, where science starts to become possible. And people started to ask, how is that even available? How can you even be able to do that? And yes, they are available. You can actually go and take a heat scanner and you can run it over somebody. You can actually see that energy inside of you exist. So believe in yourself, believe in your vibration. Recognize that the people that are around you see that. They recognize that you can allow the things to move out of your way. That when you are a positive force in the universe identifies you as a positive force and it yields. So what are we looking for? Are you looking for, what type of universal wealths are you looking for? What is it that you're looking for in your life? Are you willing to die to become that? See, and that's when I passed the 5-hour barrier. That's when the ability for doing things that other people called impossible became possible. And yeah, in San Diego, I was known as the person who could stay the longest inside of a sauna because what was going on inside of me, okay, the person that I was with for 8 years left me, okay? I found myself sleeping in my car. I found myself in a place where I loved somebody more than I loved myself. And at that place, that's where I picked myself up. When other people would say, oh, well, he doesn't know what it's like, okay? I have slept in my vehicle for 2 months. I have done meditation. I have broken barriers that other people couldn't even break. And I could tell you that when you start to spend time on yourself, you start to spend patience, you start to give yourself time each day, you start to master your morning, master your ability to wake up, master your ability to get your day going with you, master your ability to write stuff down in such a way that it creates results, that it actually creates a master within you. A master of your ability to be positive. Your master of your ability to believe in yourself. That who you are inside is worth it. And yeah, I remember outselling people for Chrysler. I remember being in a place where other people thought they were on top. And yes, they might have this degree or that degree, and it didn't matter. You know what? It doesn't matter how many handicaps they put in front of me. I'm just going to take those handicaps like I recommend you to do for yourself, and I'm going to turn them into a way to overcome my challenges. See, walls are only walls because we learn them. When you have less and you're able to do more, when you have less, when you're able to do more and other people have thousands of people in front of them and you might have one or two, it's that one or two that matter the most, my friends. It's when you're willing to reach deep inside, when you're willing to reach deep, deep down inside of yourself, because what you know, what you believe in is that. And that's when I ask myself that question every single day. Is what I'm doing every single day, is it motivation? Is it meditation? Is it inspiration? Because if it's not one of the three, this isn't that. This is about you. It's about you getting to the place where you start to sit down with yourself, you start to study, you start to dominate your being, you start to be who you are on the inside. And if you ask yourself the question, can I speak my mind? Can I be who I am inside? And I'm talking at a way in consideration of not of selfishness. See, a lot of people think of that in a selfish way. What about when all you got is you? What about when nobody's around you? What about when you close the door to yourself and you sit down inside of yourself? What do you think? What do you put your vibrations in? What is it that you utilize on a daily? And that's where we start to sit down. And that's the reason why writing stuff down by what you listen to, what you put into your mind, what you vibrate outwards, has got to be in a place where positivity has the ability to allow the negativity to leave your life. That's where I started to recognize that what truly existed was focus. What truly existed, and not only that, I even heard people talk about that. I heard, that there was a Warren Buffett, Bill Gates place where they actually sat down at a dinner together, right? So they were sitting down at this dinner, at this banquet, and he asked Warren Buffett, what is the most important trait on the face of the planet? And it just so happens to be that that's the most attractive trait as well too. And if you're seeking out people to use you as a tool, look at this question, look at this, and I wanted to help other people to be able to achieve that for themselves. And this is what I started to recognize. I started to recognize that if you're focused, then other people start to know you for you. If you're focused, other people start to find you as a tool in the universe. They start to see you as a tool in the universe. And guess what? The answer was to that question. It was focus. Because what you create is a foundation you get to keep. When you focus into positivity, you get to keep positivity. When you're allowing the things that are negative to move out of your life, they have the ability to enable your mind. And so how do you use those skills that you got in school? I thought, what do we go to school for? How do we utilize school in our beings? How do we utilize it in our abilities? And I found that we got to take notes, my friends. We got to sit down with paper and pen, and we got to study the people that we have in our life. We got to study the challenges that we have. We got to start to get inside of ourselves. And I started to hear Sadhguru talk. I heard Sadhguru said, you don't know. And I said to myself, you don't know, Sadhguru. You don't understand what you're saying. Because if you knew that, you would recognize that there are people out there who study themselves. They get into themselves. They have patience with themselves. They have observation. And one of the biggest things that people miss out on is the ability to observe themselves, right? So when you're sitting back and you've gone up a mountain, you've climbed up a mountain, you get down to the other side, and you have a minute to sit and think. That was a great journey. That was a great path. Do we give ourselves that kind of time? Do we even train ourselves to have that kind of observation with that kind of patience on our path, with our challenges, with our mentalities? And I started to recognize that those that are told that they have disabilities, those that are diagnosed with disabilities, they allow that to become a part of their disabling mentality. When do we enable our mentality? When do we put ourselves in a place where what we utilize is our challenges? Because guess what? Each of us have challenges, and we get to keep them. And if we didn't keep our challenges, if we didn't keep the things that we work through, then the universal yield wouldn't be possible. So when do we go past good and bad? When do we look at the place where light and dark was divided? Where the ability to go to the point before it was even saw and the choice even came? Where we get to see positivity and we get to keep that part of ourselves. See, that's the difference between me and society, okay? The difference between me and society is they teach you that good and bad happen. But what happens when you're smoking cigarettes and you want to stop? What happens when other people say that and you know it's not good? What do you get then? How do you start to get to the mentality to do that? Now, this is how you start to be able to get yourself to that kind of challenge. You got to decide what's positive in your life. You got to decide what's going to bring you towards positivity, how you're going to utilize it, what you're going to choose. Is this a positive thing in my life? What are the reasons why? That's why writing stuff down is important, because what you put down, you can achieve. If you believe in yourself to the point where you let the things move out of the way, it's not going to happen on one day. Okay? It's not even going to happen in 1 week. It's going to take time for things to manifest themselves in your life. And if you truly want them to happen, you're going to want them to the point sometimes where you're willing to die for them. And that's what happened inside the sauna. I started to face off against the things that I might have loved somebody more than I loved myself. And I'm telling you, if that's what you're going through today, sit down and study you. Sit down and be who you are inside of you. Sit down and focus to the point where your mentality gives you the ability to care for you, to know you, to manifest you, to be who you are on the inside, that other people can identify with you. When they're seeking you out for the position, are they seeking you out for the proper tool that you already are? Or is that not the right place for you? Let those things move out of the way on their own. See, that's the way in which I look at professions. I look at becoming the best of what you choose to be, not taking on too many things that stop you from going through your challenges. All right. So I am doing energy readings as well as motivational speaking here. So positive thinking and positive vibes, guys. Hello?
Hello.
Blessings.
You can't.
Huh?
You can't. You can't.
I can read energy. And I have been able to for a very long time. I just started sharing it a little over a year ago, okay? So that is definitely something you can actually go back and watch my videos on how I actually did it. I don't teach people how I did it because it takes a lot of time to learn how to read energy. Blessings.
What's up, man?
How you doing?
I'm good, bro. What's going on?
Well, okay, so basically, I've been doing meditation since I was 27 and I'm 34. Okay, I worked for Christ. I did sales for telesales for 3.5 years, car sales for 2.5 years, and I drove for 5 years. People, 14,000 customers. But when I was inside the sauna, I started to be able to read energy. I could actually see the energy, and I started communicating with people where they were at. But then I started to come out here. I live in Arizona, and I actually started sitting down with people and actually working with the energy inside of themselves. And so you can actually go back through my videos and you can watch multiple energy readings And I can definitely tell that you use a lot of red energy, and that means you like to stand your ground a lot in the situations that you go through.
Right. Okay.
And that's a positive thing. But the thing is, it's got to be in the positive place. You get in what I'm saying?
Yeah, I hear you.
So energy is a really it's like each individual has one of 7 energy dominant traits. You know what I'm saying?
Okay.
And so, well, the red energy has to deal with the ability to stand your ground. It has and this is in all aspects. This isn't just in size. It's in when people try to do things, you're willing to speak your mind. You get what I'm saying?
Right. Yeah. No, you're right.
And so,
100%.
yeah, because I can read it straight through multiple angles, and it's not even just one, and that's why I could do it without even seeing you. You getting what I'm saying? Because I focused to the point where I literally sat in a sauna for more than 5 hours.
Okay.
So how do you use that? Now, you want to see that you can use it in a physical aspect, but there's more. So I know that you know more angles than just that.
Yeah. I mean, you could probably say it's more against someone imposing authority, maybe.
Well, see, the key is to actually use that kind of energy, and hear the whole sentence in a positive way. So, if everything was taken away from you and you were still yourself, how would you start to use that in a positive way? One of those ways is like with martial arts, right? So, with martial arts, you learn how to calm it so that you can use that energy in that way.
Right. So how do you use it in a positive way?
So, red energy is like places where people are able to become managers. Okay? They're able to become people who are able to become directors. See what I'm saying? So, if the energy is applied properly, even red energy is a really positive thing. It's seeking out positivity and not the negativity. Using that energy in a way in which is positive will allow that negativity that raises that inside to try to feel like it's a fight or flight. Do you get what I'm saying? Out of the way on its own. So,
Oh, I see.
see, it's a positive thing. That's why it's called energy reading, because it's not about what you're fighting in the world. It's more so about how you use the strengths that you have against the challenges that you have.
Oh, I see. In a positive way.
Yes.
Oh, okay.
So instead of it being against authority, because the war isn't against anybody else. It's what's going on inside and becoming who you are on the inside. See, so there's nobody that's fighting against you. It's what's going on inside you. When you shut a room and you're by yourself, how do you apply your energy? So once you recognize the type of energy you have, it starts to come down to how to utilize it. See what I'm saying?
How to utilize it, right? So is there a balance on this energy? Like, should I be, trying to gather or increase other types of energy that I would have to balance this red energy out?
So the best is for red energy is to start trying to attract people with yellow energy around you. Okay? Yellow energy has to deal with thought process. People that are truly thinking, that will raise the level from red into the yellow. And you'll find a lot of red and yellows spend time together, actually.
Okay.
Because the place where a red energy is seeking out logically. They're seeking out logical people within the world. You getting what I'm saying?
Yeah, of course.
So, who can actually help them to go past the level of frustration. And that's why the first thing that came out was authority. So, when we don't look at that angle, we actually look at how you increase inside. It's by recognizing that those types of people help you to elevate the energy. Because one of the hardest things for red energy to do is to get moving through the other energy fields. So you want to seek out a lot of one of the biggest challenges that people with red energy have is people that are extremely emotional. It's so far in difference in the spectrum that that they have a difficulty. That's why they get frustrated at them. You getting what I'm saying?
Oh, that they're being overly emotional.
Exactly. So they want to seek out people with depth perception who can see into the future, in a sense, not necessarily just see into the future, but like, this person, when they do this thing, that gets action. Because a lot of people that deal with red energy are people that are actions. Come on, we got to do this now.
Yes.
And so the understanding of that is the reason why they enjoy people with yellow energy. So just think about the people who you have around you and how they relate to you. See what I'm saying? So then from there you want to use your energy in a way which you get yourself dominating your life. And that can only happen with positivity and allowing the negativity, right? So those authoritarian type things to move out of the way on their own. But you can only do that if you seek after positivity, because like Newton stated, for each action there's an equal and opposite. So getting upset isn't going to solve the issue of how to apply that energy properly.
Right. No, I hear what you're saying. It's interesting.
So yeah, you can follow my stuff on. That's how you do an energy reading, is to understand yourself. It's more so about getting within yourself and starting to break it down to where you can study it.
Cool, man. Thanks for the reading.
You're welcome. You have a blessed day, okay?
Yeah, you too.
Connect with the network, Motivation, Meditation, Inspiration.yoga, okay? I do a lot of these readings.
Cool, man.
All right. Blessings, brother. Oh, what a wonderful reading that was. See, we can take all energies and turn them positive. We can use the challenges that we go through so we can overcome them. We can see the positivity inside of ourselves, inside of the ability to allow negativity to move out of the way on its own, to use the energy that we have inside to overcome our challenges. And that's what really it's about. It's about taking on the challenges that we have and finding a way to use them to our advantage, using our mentalities to our advantage, enabling the mentality, giving ourselves the ability to no longer have a disabled mentality, to no longer allow what's going on around us to stop us from going within ourselves. See, in school they teach you how to study, but they don't teach you how to apply it in your life. They don't teach you how to sit down and use your study skills. They don't teach you how to use your mentality to see the positivity in your challenges. And it's up to you to start to apply it for yourself, to start to put yourself in a place where you focus past those challenges, where you utilize your energy in such a way that you have the ability to become that energy that you have, to apply that energy. And see, we've been taught that just because you have a certain type of energy that you're a good or bad person. How do we start taking that and turning it positive? How do we start taking that and putting it into a positive place where the vibration starts to come outwards? And that's what I'm talking about. I'm talking about people seeing you and you being in the types of positions that bring you positivity, bring the people around you positivity, the relationships, the people that you associate with, the challenges that you go through, the mentality that you have, allowing those things moving out of their way on their own because you are a positive person and you have positivity working on your side. See, this is what we're talking about. And that's why it was so great to utilize the ability of the universe for energy. Because as Robert Kiyosaki stated, emotion is nothing less than energy in motion. So are we seeing that energy? Are we utilizing it? Are we stimulating it within ourselves to move ourselves in a way where our mentality have the ability to uplift? Our ability inside has the ability. Are we creating those kind of habits of positivity where other people are starting to know you as positivity? And I've heard people say, I just can't get motivated. And that's not an excuse. Okay? Because you create habits. What you focus into, what you focus on, you get to keep. If you get to keep positivity, isn't that what you want? Isn't that what you want to become? Isn't that what you want to vibrate in? Isn't it what you want to attract into your life? Isn't that what you want to be around you? And that's where the mentality becomes available. It comes available when the challenges are not greater than you, when you're greater than the things that you're going through, when you believe in yourself at a point where the strength inside of you vibrates as motivation. See what I'm saying? And that's not going to come from a good or bad. Well, this is good, but how do you feel inside? Well, this is bad, but how do you feel inside? When do you start to choose what's positive in your life? When do you even see that? And see, the structure has brought that teaching of good and bad. But they forget that it's biblical. They forget that the light was divided from darkness, and that there is light in the world, that you can be a positive force, that you can use positivity within yourself to uplift other people, that what you're utilizing, you get to reflect. And even biblically, it shows it too. So let's go ahead and start seeing how this tool that you are can start going inwards. Let's start getting into ourselves. So let's start taking that and start heading on the inwards journey. Let's start getting to that point where even red energy has a purpose. See what I'm saying? People thought of red energy as a negative force. It is not a negative force. It is a beautiful force in the universe. See, yellow energy, orange energy, purple energy, green energy, white energy within the universe. I'm talking about a level beyond. I'm talking about a level within. I'm talking about that student inside of yourself starting to open up. I'm talking about that person inside of yourself starting to use the beautiful things that we have in the world. And like yesterday when I sit down and I did meditation with one of my students, we were doing meditation under the sun. And so, see, do we start to enjoy that kind of energy? We start to see the joy, the positivity coming out. And so how do we start to get there? We start to go inwards. We start to take those things that used to crush and we start to turn them around. We start to be within ourselves. We start to open that part inside of who we are. We start to believe in ourselves. We start to believe that we can do this, so we can become this, so we can study ourselves. We start to become a student in our lives. We start to learn the lessons behind the pains, learn the lessons behind the emotions that had to be learned to begin with. And so how do we start to overcome our pains? We let them become teachers. We let them gain a part of our life. We get them gain a part of our beauty inside of who we are. We let them light us up to let us see that we are beautiful on a daily. That what we work through, what we vibrate out, we believe in ourselves. We free ourselves when we allow ourselves to be who we are on the inside. We free ourselves when we allow ourselves to believe that we can overcome our challenges, that what we have going on, we have the ability to overcome. And who teaches you that? Who teaches you in the daily? You know, I heard Mark Cuban talking about, you know, when you have an issue with your heart, right? When something like, if you have a clogged artery, then they're going to say, oh, wow, you have issue. Let's go ahead and give you attention. But when you have something going on inside of you, oh yeah, you got problems, right? So I guess all of us have problems. And we also, all of us have solutions too. We have mentality within ourselves to overcome those. See, and this is talking to that person that might be in the room by themselves. They might be going through a challenge by themselves. They might not believe that they can wake up tomorrow. When do you sit down and study your challenges? When do you sit down inside of yourself like I did when I was sleeping in my van? When do you get to the point where what you got going on inside is greater than the challenges going on around you? And when do we get to the place where our mentality starts to open up? You're welcome to call in, and I do energy readings between my motivational speaking, between my meditation teaching. And right now we're talking about meditation. We're talking about how to use that energy, how to identify the beautiful people that you have in your lives, my friends. How to identify, how to utilize what you got inside, how to be who you are on the inside and allow the challenges that you face off against no longer to have the ability to defeat you. And that's what we're talking about today. We're talking about you believing in yourself. We're talking about you knowing yourself. We're talking about you studying yourself. And I'm giving out free meditation sessions. I'm giving out free mentoring sessions. I'm giving out free inspiration. Because I want to build a community of people who believe in themselves. Anybody who wants to leave or fundraise or help me to grow this, reach out to me. Okay? Motivation, meditation, inspiration. I want you to be uplifted. I want to raise the vibration on the face of the planet. I want people to see that it's worth it, that they can achieve it, that they can create something where they can believe in themselves, where other people can become uplifted because they sit inside of themselves and they start to recognize that motivation, that meditation is what it's about. And so how do we get to become that kind of student where our mentality has a place? Reach out with me on my Facebook, Discipline 101, YouTube, Facebook, Periscope, Instagram. You can text me. My number is 619-500-2657. I'm definitely teaching, and it is all free. Whatever kind of donations you want to put, that's the yield from the universe. This isn't about that. To me, it's about helping you guys. It's about getting to a place where we build a community. Because you know what drives me? What brings me closer to myself is recognizing that the law of riches exists. That when I help other people, I believe that the universe yields in return. When I was helping out a girl with stage 4 metastasized cancer so that they could have peace inside of themselves, so that they could pass in this journey. That's what it's about, my friends. It's about getting to the place where we believe in ourselves, where we liberate ourselves. And you might be going through a challenge right now where you need that kind of mentality, where you need that kind of ability inside of yourself, where what you're utilizing within you is worth it. And you might have been taught by people that the things that you're going through in your life are good or bad. I'm here to tell you what exists is what's going on inside of you. When you are feeling things are positive, when things are happening in your life, when you're becoming the student and you're gaining access to the lessons that are inside of you, that those emotions cannot hold you back. That you can bypass those emotions by becoming a student in your life, by learning from yourself. Bruce Lee was asked this question once. How do you teach students? How do you get to the place where what's going on inside you have the ability to overcome? How do you start to get to the place inside of who you are where you have the ability to get to that level of mentality? And the answer that he had when he was on top, this is the answer that he had. He said to them, he said, when people come to learn martial arts from me, ultimately, they're coming to learn from themselves. So what I'm telling you is I can't teach you anything. Okay? And a lot of people won't say that to you. Okay? Because they're not real. But this is real. I can only teach you how to be yourself. I can only teach you how to use your own tools. I can only teach you how to go within yourself and to understand your own energy, to get to your level of mentality, to become a gift and a tool within the universe, to allow your dreams to become possible, to where what you write down you achieve, where you sit down with the emotions and you overcome them for yourself. When you overcome